Hello, Vaiva. Welcome to the Question Hour show from the Parliament House complex, where we bring you important unstart questions that were asked by the members of the upper house during the previous session and the response given by the government in written format. I'm Kriti Mishra, and joining me is my colleague Vishal Dhaya.
Well, thank you so much, Kriti. So let's take our viewers through these important questions. And the first one in this episode has been asked by member Motilal Vora, and this is addressed to the Ministry of Law and Justice, wherein the member wants to know whether government is aware of the fact that a major part of lives of innocent people are spent in jails due to slow disposal of judicial cases in the country.
Well, the government has given a very detailed response to this question, and the government goes on to say that as per the information available with National Crime Records Bureau, a total of 2,82,879, 2,82,076 and 2,93,058 under trial prisoners were lodged in various jails of the country at the end of the year 2014, 15 and 16 respectively. Delay in hearing of cases may be one of the factors which may contribute to the number of under trial prisoners in jails. Both government and judiciary are concerned with the presence of large number of under trial prisoners in jails. Various issues relating to prison administration, including the presence of under trials, are discussed with the state governments from time to time. The government further goes on to say that National Legal Services Authority, or NALSA, provides free and competent legal services to under trial prisoners and convicts through legal services clinics which are opened in the jails. About 11,800 remand advocates have been appointed in magisterial courts and session courts for providing legal services to arrestees in criminal courts. Further, awareness camps or programs are also conducted with free legal advice and with their legal rights, including right to bail. Regular visits are made by the functionaries of legal service authorities to jails to identify prisoners who require legal aid and also advice. Apart from the above measures, under trial review committee headed by district judge have also been set up in all the districts to review the cases of all under trials who have completed half of the maximum sentence provided for the offences they are charged with. The government further says that timely disposal of cases in courts depends on several factors, which include availability of adequate number of judges, supporting court staff and physical infrastructure, complexity of facts involved, nature of evidence, cooperation of stakeholders like bar investigation agencies, witnesses and litigants, and proper application of rules and also procedures. No time frame has been prescribed for disposal of various kinds of cases by the respective courts. Let's move on to the next question, again to the Ministry of Law and Justice, and this one has been asked by member Kupendra Reddy. And Mr. Kupendra Reddy has asked whether the government has made any assessment regarding the ratio of judges to the population in the country.
Well, in its response, the Ministry of Law and Justice says that in the case of Imtiaz Ahmed versus State of Uttar Pradesh and others, the Supreme Court had asked the Law Commission of India to evolve a method for scientific assessment of the number of additional courts required to clear the backlog of cases. In 245th report, that is from the year 2014, the Law Commission observed that filing of cases per capita varies substantially across geographical units as filings are associated with economic and social conditions of the population. As such, the Law Commission did not consider the judge population ratio to be a scientific criteria for determining the adequacy of the judge strength in the country. The Law Commission found that in the absence of complete and scientific approach to data collection across various high courts in the country, the rate of disposal method to calculate the number of additional judges required to clear the backlog of cases as well as to ensure that new backlog is not created is more pragmatic and useful. In August 2014, the Supreme Court asked the National Court Management System Committee to examine the recommendations made by the Law Commission and to furnish its recommendations in this regard. Now, the NCMS committee submitted its report to the Supreme Court in March 2016, and the report observes that in the long term, the judge strength of the subordinate courts will have to be assessed by a scientific method to determine the total number of judicial hours required for disposing of the caseload of each court. In the interim, the committee has proposed a weighted disposal approach, that is, disposal weighted by nature and complexity of cases in local conditions. Further, as per the directions of the Honorable Supreme Court in its order dated 2nd of January 2017, the Department of Justice has forwarded a copy of the interim report of NCMS committee to all state governments and high courts to enable them to take follow-up action to determine the required strength of district and subordinate judiciary. Also, the ministry says that the filling up of vacancies in Supreme Court and High Courts is a continuous and collaborative process between the executive and the judiciary. It requires consultation and approval from various constitutional authorities, initiation of proposal for appointment of judges in the Supreme Court vests with the Chief Justice of India, while initiation of proposal for appointment of judges in High Courts vests with the Chief Justice of High Court concerned. While every effort is made to fill up the existing vacancies expeditiously, vacancies in high courts do keep on arising on account of retirement, resignation or elevation of judges, and also the increase in the strength of judges. Well, the next question is addressed to the Ministry of Power, and this comes in from member Satyanarayan Jatia, who wants to know from the government about the policy and action plan to synchronize the power generation capacity and its demand supply in the country, along with current actual status of the generation and demand supply of power.
In a specific answer, the government says that Section 3(4) of Electricity Act 2003 stipulates that Central Electricity Authority or CEA shall prepare a national electricity plan in accordance with the National Electricity Policy and notify such plan once in every 5 years. The third National Electricity Plan was notified in January 2018. The plan covers the power generation capacity addition required to meet the electricity demand, that is, to assess the peak load and energy requirement for the period 2017 to 2022 and prospective forecasts for 2022 to 2027 and also other related issues. The All India installed power generation capacity as on 31st of May 2019 is 3,56,817.6 megawatts. Let's move on to the next question, and this one is by member GC Chandrasekhar, and this one is also to the Ministry of Power. And Mr. Chandrasekhar has asked whether 27% of the total power generated in the country is lost during transmission, and specifically the details thereof.
Well, the Power Ministry in its response says that the transmission losses in interstate transmission system are in the range of 2.5% to 3%, which is technical in nature. Indian power system is one of the largest synchronous grid in the world, equipped with state-of-the-art technology. And ISTS is a robust and integrated pan-India transmission network in the country, and presently there is no constraint in the ISTS for transfer of long-term allocation power from various generating stations to different beneficiary states. Now, the availability of ISTS is maintained at about 99.0%. Electricity is a concurrent subject, and the supply and distribution of electricity falls under the purview of the respective state governments or state power utility. To improve the reliability and quality of power supply distribution system, strengthening works including substations, transformers, lines, etc. under Deen Dayal Upadhyay Gram Jyoti Yojana and Integrated Power Development Scheme are being done. Further, Central Transmission Utility, that is CTU, has been mandated to plan the ISTS to facilitate smooth transfer of power across states and regional boundaries all over the country. The national grid, comprising of about 4,15,000 circuit kilometers of transmission lines and 9,08,000 MVA of transformation capacity at voltage level of 220 kV and above, has been established to meet the power demand of the country. A number of inter-regional transmission corridors with power transfer capacity of 99,050 megawatt to facilitate transfer of power within and across the regions with reliability and security has also been established. High capacity transmission corridors comprising extra high voltage levels as well as energy efficient devices are installed to maintain the ISTS losses at minimum level. Well, the next question is addressed to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Sports, and this one comes in from member Ramkumar Verma, who wants to know from the government whether it is a fact that the government is running several schemes to promote participation of rural youth in sports.
In the response, the government says that sports, being a state subject, promotion of sports, including identifying and nurturing sporting talent in rural areas, is primarily the responsibility of the state governments or the union territories. Central government supplements the efforts of the states or union territories by providing assistance to national sports federations and running expert training facilities in Sports Authority of India. Training facilities and financial support are provided to sports persons under various schemes like Khelo India, assistance to national sports federations and SAI schemes. No new scheme is under consideration right now. Moving on to the next question asked by members Chaya Verma, Sukhram Singh Yadav and also Vishambar Prasad Nishad. And these members have asked about the number of national sports universities functional in the country at present.
The Sports Authority of India has 882 regular and 126 contract coaches presently working for training facilities. Further, development of coaches and improving their competency is an ongoing process. Central government is supporting NSF under Human Resource Development Scheme for improving competency of Indian coaches. In the annual calendar for training and competition meetings with various NSFs, it has been impressed upon them to work out appropriate training, competency and upgradation programs of Indian coaches. The last question for this episode is addressed to the Ministry of Human Resource, and this one comes in from member Narayan Rane, who wants to know from the government whether it is a fact that the quality of teachers is declining even after the availability of upgraded technology.
In the response, the government says that it is committed to improving the quality of teaching and teachers at all levels of education. In higher education, the ministry is implementing a central sector scheme of Pandit Madan Mohan Malviya National Mission in Teachers and Teaching, which aims at building a strong professional cadre of teachers by setting performance standards and creating top-class institutional facilities for innovative teaching and professional development of teachers. Existing central, state and deemed to be universities or educational institutions are approved as centers under the various components of the scheme, and teachers in private institutions can also participate in various capacity building programs as well as induction training. Further, annual refresher program in teaching, which is also called ARPIT, a major unique initiative of online professional development of higher education faculty using platforms of SWAYAM, is being implemented, for which discipline-specific institutions have been identified and notified as national resource centers, which are tasked to prepare online training material with focus on latest developments in discipline, new and emerging trends, improvements and methodologies for transacting revised curriculum. In addition, various schemes, namely Rashtriya Uchitar Shiksha Abhiyan, Global Initiative for Academics Network, Technical Education Quality Improvement Program, are also being implemented to improve the quality of teaching in higher education. A number of initiatives are also taken by UGCA and AICTE for quality improvement of teaching in higher and technical institutions. So Vishal, these were the important questions that we've picked up for our viewers in this edition of Question Hour.
Well, yes, indeed. And after the break, our colleagues Arvind Singh and Preeti Singh will bring you some more questions in Hindi in Prashn Kaal. Stay tuned.